feel like a ride in the city with you here, showing me the way to go.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm so excited about because I realized not too long ago that I've never done a video really about my wedding. And it's June, in case you didn't know. It's June right now. And my wedding anniversary, my eighth, I've been married for 8 years, is on the 21st of June. I wasn't on YouTube yet when I got married, and if I was, I would have been really annoying with the wedding posts. I was still in college, Byron was working like a dog, and it was just a crazy time. So I thought I would kind of just like throw back, show you guys some pictures, some videos, and just talk about my wedding and all that jazz. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. So let's jump right in.
I feel like...
Okay, so before we talk about the wedding, we have to talk about the proposal, duh. So in 2006 was when we got engaged, and Byron proposed to me on a Sunday, and I think we were dating for about a year when we got engaged. And I kind of knew it was coming because we had talked about it a ton. This was not a surprise. We were like, we're in love, we want to get married, our families were all on board. But Byron had to go to work, so I did not expect it. But my best friend Hannah and her husband James, now at the time they were dating, and Byron and James were roommates, and me and Hannah were besties. So James was like, hey Byron, I'm gonna take Hannah down to Santa Barbara. Do you think there's a chance that maybe you could take off work today and you guys could come down? And Byron's like, sure. So he called in to work, and that wasn't like Byron, so I kind of started to suspect on that Sunday that maybe he was going to propose, and I even called my mom and was like, oh my gosh, I think he's going to propose. So we go down to Santa Barbara with our friends, and then we kind of veer off into our own directions, and we're at this park, and Byron's like, we should hike up the hill. So I was like, okay. So we kind of took a mild hike up the hill, and once we got to the top, there was this huge waterfall, and all of these roses in a huge circle, and he got down on his knee and he opened up, the little container with the ring in it, and I was just like looking at the ring, and when I saw the ring, I was absolutely thrilled. We were talking a lot about getting married, rings, which a lot of people do when they're getting engaged, and kind of what their preference is. He was like, is there a certain store that you want me to go to? Like, do you want me to go to Tiffany's, or where do you want? And I said, well, I saw this girl with a beautiful ring from Robbins Brothers, and I would like you to go there because I think that they have really pretty like vintagey options. And he was like, oh, I love that. Like, I really think that's pretty. I showed him kind of like on the site. So obviously we got engaged pretty young. Byron was working as a line cook at the time. We kind of decided that we were gonna go for something pretty, affordable for us. Something that wouldn't mean that we went into debt, that he went into debt. I would feel terrible if he spent all his money on my ring. And we really wanted to make sure like we were going into marriage with like a good start. We were definitely worried about living life together and bills and things like that. We had discussed that, if it made sense in like 10 years, we could always upgrade. It's our 8-year anniversary, so we're a little early, but we were able to upgrade to a bigger diamond. So we just swapped out the diamond. I have the original still. It's a beautiful diamond. Byron did an awesome job, and I would feel so bad getting rid of it because it just means a lot to me. So I kept it. I'm gonna put it in a necklace or an earring for an heirloom piece that I can wear and pass down to my daughter one day, or just keep it in the family. But we got a little bit of a larger diamond that I think fits better for this really wide filigree band, which Byron and I both really love the band. We didn't want to change the ring at all because I just love this ring. And I know that this style maybe isn't for everybody because it's kind of a more vintage feel. People always ask me if it's an heirloom piece, and I always say, no, I got it at Robbins Brothers. I've referred so many people to Robbins Brothers because I'm such a fan of their work. They have really, really unique, beautiful rings. I've had multiple friends go there and get a similar kind of process done that I did, which is they sell these bands separately, and then you can get whatever size diamond obviously put onto it. They don't have this exact model anymore, but they have a thinner version that's really pretty that I'll link below if you're kind of interested in this type of look for your wedding ring. I learned a lot about diamonds. Like, I wasn't there obviously the first time around choosing the diamond, and I had no idea like how much goes into it, because you have to consider cut and color and like flaws and this and that. There was like so much that I was like, wow, I had no idea. So yeah, I actually did a whole blog post on kind of my tips and tricks for choosing a diamond. So if you're kind of in that phase in your life right now, you can go check that out. But yeah, that was the whole proposal and ring situation. Okay, so let's talk about the dress. Again, at the time, I was on a serious budget. I was a budget bride all the way. I signed up for the knot.com. I remember I was working at Curves at the time, which was like a women's only gym. I could not afford the $4,000 dress that I saw in the magazine and I wanted. It was like this beautiful lace dress. And I just kept saying I wanted something simple, old Hollywood glamour. Byron and I both knew that we wanted to get married by the beach, so I knew I wasn't gonna have like a ball gown. So I was walking through Bloomingdale's actually, and I was like looking through the rack of kind of like off the rack wedding dresses, and I saw one that was beautiful, but they didn't have my size, and it was a Jessica McClintock. I don't even know if she's still around anymore, or her store is still around. And we searched all over the world to find that particular dress in my size. And it was I liked the dress. I think looking back on it now, it was only $350. So it wasn't like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 dress. I really liked it. It had lace all on the back, so you could see my whole back. I knew I wanted to have my hair up, and I wanted a gardenia put in there. So I did have somebody do my hair and makeup for my wedding day. And yeah, the dress was from Jessica McClintock. And I mean, it was a budget wedding, so there were certain things that meant a lot to me, and certain things that I was like, okay, we can kind of spend less on this and a little bit more on that. So for the venue and flowers, we knew that we wanted to get married in Malibu. Like, we were on the same page, and we just knew that Malibu was expensive, obviously, because we were having a budget wedding, but we both wanted to get married in Malibu. So we're like, how can we make this work? So one thing that I found out, I can't remember if I found out this tip from the Knot or where I found it, because I did a lot of wedding reading, obviously. And that's one tip I would recommend. If you're a bride, just get a bunch of bridal magazines, sign up to the knot.com, read forums. Although back then, man, that was my first experience with like mean people on forums. I was like, holy moly, I need to like stay off the forums because people are like aggressive central over here. But anyway, I remember one tip was to get married during like either Monday through Thursday, because Friday and Saturday is always way more expensive. So I decided that that was gonna be how we were gonna kind of cut some budget. So we got married on a Thursday night in Malibu at a place called Malibu West Beach Club. We got the venue for half off because it was a Thursday instead of a Friday. And then we invited like everybody and their mother, and then we knew that people wouldn't be able to come because it was Thursday. So we ended up having the perfect amount of people show up, and nobody felt like they weren't invited. Everybody was invited. It's just certain people couldn't show up because it was during the week. So it ended up working out perfectly. We did hire a florist. I forget, it was a friend of a friend, and basically we did like the most budget-friendly florist. I think they sent somebody down to the flower mart that morning to get all the flowers, and then we hired the lady to assemble the bouquets that my bridesmaids had, which they had a tulip bouquet, and then I had a gardenia bouquet. That was like my main request, was that I had a gardenia bouquet. To save budget, we actually didn't have flowers on the tables, but we created these like little sand, like it had sand and shells, seashells, and then a candle, and then we had gardenias like all around the tables. So we kind of just tried to make it work so that we didn't have to do gardenia floral centerpieces at each table, because that was gonna be like $120 a piece. And we were like, we can't do that. So we got everything from Michael's. It was like such a DIY project that it's very much how my channel is now, which I wish that I had my channel back then so I could have showed you all of these things. But yeah, we created just kind of like our own tablescape. At the time there was no Pinterest, but I just would make my own little pin boards with the ideas that I liked, and me and my mom just went crazy DIYing and doing stuff. And my mom was like so helpful because I was really busy in college and with work. She did so many DIYs with me. All I cared about was marrying Byron. That was my biggest thing. I was just like, I want to marry this guy. We'll just elope. Like, let's just do what we need to do to make it cute and budget friendly. So for the food, we did hire a caterer that was acquainted with our church, and they gave us a really good deal. And we had buffet is a little bit cheaper, which I know it's not everybody's preference. We chose buffet because I think it was like half the price, but we still had fish, chicken, beef. We had, and it was amazing. The food was awesome. I think the biggest thing that we chose was the venue because it was so beautiful, the scenery. You could see the beach, you could see dolphins. My mom and I kind of decorated the outside area with plants and just did what we could to make it really beautiful. But that location really killed it. So again, you kind of have to pick and choose, like, what do you want to spend more on, what do you want to spend less on, and just basically budget. We had a band. My dad played in the band because my dad's a musician, so that made sense. We had a live band and not a DJ. So last but not least, I'm gonna talk about my wedding planner, which I got this at Target, and I still have it. I had to like kind of dig it out, and it kind of gives you like a to-do list, but here are my lists. I still have these. Oh, look at this. At-home facial, cleansing, steaming and extractions, mask and toning. I literally had a whole beauty regime. Oh my gosh, isn't that funny? I probably would have had a routine. I would have had a wedding routine. Oh gosh, I had a whole list of 5 to 6 months before. Begin a stress relief regime. Oh my word. You know what? I should put this on my blog. That is too funny. The emergency kit to bring with me to my wedding. I had that in there. So this was like aspirin, emergency Band-Aids, bottled water. Before bed tone up. Oh, I did this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That was my workout routine. I got a bikini and arm wax before my wedding. And I don't think I got a facial. No, I started doing facials on my own. That was kind of when I really started figuring out how to do them on my own. I did get a tan. Everything I did to get fit before the wedding. Hair ideas. Oh, she was my inspiration at the time. This was Jessica Biel. Oh, this is too funny. 2 sets of push-ups every other day, 12 reps each set. This was my invitation ideas, and my friend Hannah did the invitations. She worked at like a scrapbooking store, so that was kind of like her job. That was like her main job, was she made the invitations, and they hung off the chairs, so they ended up being really pretty. We kind of came up with a special thing for that. We did hire a photographer. He gave us a really good deal because I used to model for him a ton when he first started, and now he's like a huge wedding photographer. He went on to be huge, but the pictures were just beautiful. And again, you kind of just pick and choose. You know, you make sacrifices where you need to make sacrifices, and I think at the end of the day, as long as, you know, you both love each other and you're getting married, that's what really matters. And we look back 8 years later and we're still in love, and, you know, sometimes you look back and you think, maybe I would have done this, or maybe I would have done that nowadays, but I look at most of my wedding and I'm pretty happy with the simplicity. I think we tried to stay simple so that it would be timeless. That was what I was going for, was timeless and classic, which I think is kind of my overall theme. I try to implement that in my life. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe, check out my last 2 videos, which should be either on this side or this side. I don't know. I have a really hard time with like perception. Okay, anyway, and subscribe, thumbs up. Yay, subscribe. Okay, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
I feel like a ride in the city with you here.